Christina Timothy first spotted Dennis Cole under the blue glass skylight of the Eco-Innovation Summit. He was on a small stage, sleeves rolled up, pitching a blockchain-based remittance app to a half-full room. His slides flickered, microphones squeaked, but his voice stayed steady. Afterward, Christina stepped forward in her tailored ivory suit. "Brilliant idea," she said, offering a card engraved Timothy Realty and Holdings. "What do you need most, capital or connections?" Dennis blinked, surprised. "Honestly, both. I've got code, not cash." That evening, they shared suya wraps on a balcony overlooking the lagoon. The city lights shimmered. Ambition felt tangible. "Let me help," Christina said. "Think of me as the partner." Dennis smiled shyly. Partnership sounds better than charity. Within a month, Dennis moved into Christina's airy Ikoyi penthouse. Servers hummed in the spare bedroom. Sticky notes littered the fridge. Mornings began with cappuccinos she imported from Italy. Nights ended with whiteboard sketches beside half-eaten plantain chips. One Sunday, after church, Christina's college friend Lillian pulled her aside. "You're glowing, Tina, but be careful. Struggling men can mistake love for lifeline." Christina laughed it off, yet the words lodged like thorns. Year 1. Dennis launched Swift Coins. Investors praised the prototype, but a regulatory freeze killed momentum. Christina paid the legal fees without a sigh. "Next one will land," she promised. Dennis kissed her forehead. "For you it must." Year 2. FarmLink, a marketplace app, faltered when servers crashed during harvest season. Christina wired emergency funds at 2 a.m. from a yacht anchored near Banana Island. "We'll rebuild," Dennis muttered, staring at the dark waves. She wrapped a silk shawl around his shoulders. "I'm not going anywhere." Enter Alexa Bennett, hired as Dennis operations manager. She arrived in crisp Ankara blazers, calm eyes, and a habit of listening before speaking. In 1 week, she streamlined budgets, negotiated cheaper cloud hosting, and convinced Dennis to pitch at a Nairobi accelerator. One late night, Christina walked into the home office carrying 2 mugs of cocoa. She paused at the doorway. Dennis and Alexa were shoulder to shoulder, laughing at a spreadsheet blooper. The sight stung unexpectedly. Alexa noticed first. "Ms. Timothy, come see." Dennis spelled expenses as expanses. Christina forced a smile. Cute error. But inside, a cold seed sprouted. Gossip soon followed. A blogger posted a photo of Dennis and Alexa exiting a cafe. The caption read, "Tech duo or secret lovers." The article went viral on Lagos Twitter before breakfast. Christina's phone erupted with pings. At brunch, Lillian whispered, "He's using you and flirting on your dime." Christina's spoon clanged against her saucer. "Dennis is loyal. But are you sure she is?" That night, rain pattered on the balcony railing. Christina confronted Dennis in the dim kitchen. "Do you love her?" she asked, voice trembling. He set down a soldering iron. "Alexa? She's my manager. You're my everything." "Prove it," Christina whispered. "Make this next startup work. Show them I wasn't a fool." Dennis took her hands. "I will. For us." Yet as lightning flashed over the lagoon, Christina felt the thin line between devotion and obsession tighten, one more failure away from snapping. Christina's worst fears burst open on a humid Friday night. The confrontation. She invited Dennis and Alexa to dinner at Orchid Sky, an upscale rooftop in Victoria Island. A jazz trio played. Candles leaned in the breeze. Christina lifted her wine glass. "To loyalty," she said, eyes fixed on Dennis. Dennis blinked. "And to fresh beginnings." Alexa smiled politely. "May all storms clear." Christina set down her glass with a thud. "Storms? Only when people lie." She slid her phone across the table. A viral blog post of Dennis and Alexa laughing over coffee. The headline screamed, "Startup lovers?" Dennis exhaled. "That's clickbait, Tina. Don't Tina me." She turned to Alexa. "Did you seduce him while spending my money?" Alexa's jaw tightened. "I respect your relationship. Nothing happened." Christina stood, silk dress rustling. "Respect? Get out of my sight, both of you." Patrons fell silent as Christina pointed at Dennis. "Pack your things tonight. My driver will wait 10 minutes. After that, You're a stranger. Public humiliation. Dennis arrived at the penthouse to find his clothes already in black garbage bags outside the gate. Security guards watched awkwardly. Above them, Christina live-streamed from the balcony. To everyone asking, "Yes, I'm single," she declared. Lesson: don't sponsor dreams that come with side chicks. Followers spammed heart emojis. Gossip pages reposted in minutes. Dennis felt his cheeks burn. He loaded the bags into his aging Honda Civic and drove aimlessly until dawn, finally parking near an unlit fuel station in Yaba. A friend's door. At 6 a.m., rain drummed on the windshield. Dennis shivered under a worn hoodie. A soft knock on the glass startled him. It was Alexa, holding 2 paper cups. "I guess you'd hide here," she said. "Drink this coffee before it drowns." He rubbed his eyes. "Why help me? You just lost your job, too. I believe in the vision, not the paycheck. Come use my guest room for a while." Dennis hesitated, pride warring with exhaustion, then followed her to a modest but neat apartment in Surulere. On the hallway wall hung a framed quote: "Rock bottom is a firm foundation. Healing and pivoting." Days turned into weeks. Alexa laid ground rules. Breakfast at 7, brainstorming at 8, exercise at 5. They jogged past street vendors, discussing code between breaths. One afternoon, Dennis slumped at the kitchen table. "I'm empty, Lex." 3 failures. Maybe Christina was right. Alexa placed a carved wooden bowl before him. "Look closer." It was etched by a local artisan, delicate patterns, flawless polish. "Lagos is full of hidden talent," she said. "What if your next platform helps artisans sell to the world?" Dennis's eyes lit. Handmade meets blockchain for transparent payments. And logistics partnerships for last-mile delivery, Alexa finished. They sketched for 12 straight hours, naming the platform Craftsphere. Viral liftoff. They filmed a 1-minute demo, a bead maker in a Baton receiving an overseas order in real time. Alexa posted it on TikTok with the hashtag Made in Africa Global. Overnight, views exploded to 2 million. BBC Africa called for an interview. TechCrunch Africa ranked Craftsphere startup to watch. Within a month, seed investors pledged $500,000. Dennis, once mocked online, landed on the cover of Forbes Africa Under 30. During the signing ceremony, he turned to Alexa. "Without you, this code would still be on sticky notes." Alexa smiled. "Let's keep building, and keep it humble." A taste of triumph. Success poured in faster than the Harmattan wind. Dennis surprised Alexa with tickets to the Maldives. Under turquoise water, they snorkeled among corals. At night, they brainstormed expansion to East Africa while sharing mango sorbet. Dennis booked a villa that opened on a white sand. "For my co-founder," he said. Back in Lagos, a matte black G-Wagon waited outside Alexa's building, ribboned in gold. She gasped. "Dennis, this is too much." He handed her the keys. "You carried me when I had nothing. Let me carry you a little." Red carpet premieres followed. African Tech Awards in Johannesburg, Fashion Week in Accra. Craftsphere had just onboarded Ghanaian Kent weavers. Paparazzi snapped shots of Dennis adjusting Alexa's train like royalty. Hashtag switch tone. Hashtag power couple goals. Christina watches. High above Victoria Island, Christina sat alone at the bar of Skyfall Lounge. Her manicured fingers scrolled through Instagram reels. Dennis in a sleek tux, winking at cameras. Alexa laughing as fireworks lit the Maldivian sky. A CNN headline. From homeless to CEO, Dennis Cole's billion-dollar pivot. Each swipe was a dagger. The bartender offered a refill. Christina waved him off and instead opened her own page. Once a gallery of private jets and luxury closings. She typed a news story post. Funny how some people shine only after leeching off others. Don't worry, karma delivers express. Within seconds, anonymous followers cheered her on. Yet the likes felt hollow. Each heart icon reminded her of the real heart she had pushed away. Fury ignites. Christina snapped her phone shut and stormed to the terrace. Wind whipped her hair, neon lights blurred beneath. Memory replayed, Dennis begging in the rain, security guards averting eyes, her own voice dripping scorn. Jealousy coagulated into something darker. He was nothing before me, she muttered. I built that confidence. I poured the foundation, and she collects the keys. A notification chimed. Craftsfear announces $10 million Series A, led by Silicon Valley firm. Valuation, $70 million. Christina's nails dug crescents in her palm. You owe me, Dennis Cole. And debts must be paid. Across town, Dennis and Alexa celebrated in a quiet bistro. Fairy lights twinkled. A live band played high-life classics. Dennis raised a glass of Chapman. To second chances. Alexa clinked his. To clean hearts. Neither noticed a new Instagram account, at Truth About Craftsfear, already amassing followers with its first promise. Tomorrow, secrets will surface. Christina, eyes blazing behind her screen, had just pressed post. And the city of Lagos, always hungry for scandal, began a bite. Christina Timothy paced outside the chic Lotus Bean Cafe, heart thudding against her ribs. Inside, Dennis sat alone by the window, scrolling his phone. 2 years ago, she would have walked in with pride. Today she took a deep breath before pushing open the glass door. The attempt at reconciliation. Dennis rose politely. Tina, thanks for coming. She smoothed her emerald dress and forced a smile. You still remember my favorite table. Old habits, he said, pulling out a chair. A waiter approached. Christina ordered hibiscus tea. Dennis chose black coffee. Silence stretched. Dennis cleared his throat. I've been thinking about everything you did for me. Your loans kept me alive. Let me make it right. He slid a slim envelope across the table. $300,000. Call it repayment plus interest. Christina's fingers trembled as she peeled back the flap, glimpsing the cashier's check. Slowly she pushed it back. I don't want your money, she whispered. Dennis frowned. Then what would help? I want you, Dennis. The words escaped like steam under pressure. We built dreams together. Now another woman wears my future. Dennis's shoulders sagged. Alexa didn't steal me. We just grew. He met her gaze gently. Tina, holding on will only hurt you. Her eyes flashed. So charity is your solution? A check to erase history. It's gratitude, he said softly. And closure. Closure? Christina laughed, brittle as glass. You owe me forever, not closure. She stood, chair scraping tile, and stormed out. Dennis watched, grief mixing with relief. He pocketed the check, unaware it would soon become evidence of how far things could fall. The first crack, anonymous threats. That night Christina sat in her penthouse, city lights flickering below. She created a burner Instagram account at Justice for Real Investors. Her first direct message to Alexa read, Girl, Lagos Lagoon is deep. Pray you don't drown. She hit send and felt a twisted spark of satisfaction. Over the next week, Alexa received dozens of similar threats, some promising acid attacks, others cursing her family. She blocked each account, but new ones appeared within hours. At Craftsfear headquarters, Alexa showed Dennis her phone. They keep coming, she said, voice steady but eyes tired. Dennis clenched his jaw. I'll hire security, and we'll trace the source. Alexa nodded. Promise me we won't let fear win. We won't, he said, though dread pooled in his stomach. The night of the tires. A week later, Dennis left the office after midnight. Moonlight bounced off the polished hood of his Tesla. As he approached, a soft hiss reached his ears. All 4 tires sat flat, rubber shredded like confetti. Great, he muttered. From the shadows, a guard hurried over. Oga, I heard a woman's heels earlier, but I didn't see her face, sir. Dennis sighed, already guessing. He called a tow truck, then dialed Alexa. I'll be late. Someone vandalized the car. Again, she asked. That's the 3rd incident in 2 weeks. I know who's behind it, he said, voice low. But I need proof. Charms at dawn. Morning sunlight washed over Alexa's townhouse as she opened her front door for the courier. On the welcome mat lay a small calabash tied with red string, feathers sticking out like broken arrows. Beside it, a note in jagged handwriting. Leave Dennis or rest with ancestors. Her breath caught. She took a photo, carried the charm with tongs, and sealed it in a plastic evidence bag. Then she texted Dennis. Alexa, found a charm at my door. Dennis, I'm on my way. Don't touch anything else. Within the hour, police officers dusted her porch while neighbors whispered behind curtains. One officer asked, "Do you have enemies, madam?" Alexa exchanged a look with Dennis. "Only one," she said quietly, planting the scandal. Christina watched news clips of Craftsphere's rapid climb, rage simmering. She dialed a gossip blogger she had once hired to promote luxury listings. "Bello Media," the voice answered. "It's Christina Timothy. Ready for exclusive tea?" "Always," he purred. "I'll send files proving Alexa Bennett seduced investors for funding." Published by Dawn. "I want her halo smashed." Anonymous source? "Make it look like shareholders leaked it." She emailed doctored screenshots. Fake chats between Alexa and a venture capitalist, spliced photos of them in the same hotel lobby, taken hours apart. Money wired, deal done. Online wildfire. The blog post titled "Craftsphere Co-Founders Pillow Contracts" hit Legos Twitter like gasoline. Memes exploded. Stock phrases like "sleep your way to series" trended. Craftsphere's brand manager fielded frantic calls. Investors demanded clarification. At an emergency press conference, Alexa faced microphones. "The allegations are fabricated," she said firmly. "Legal action is underway." A reporter shouted, "Any idea who's behind this?" Alexa paused. Cameras zoomed in on her calm face. "Yes," she answered. "I have my suspicions." Confrontation 2.0. Christina was sipping champagne in her penthouse spa when security announced a visitor. Dennis stood at her door, flanked by two plainclothes officers. "Searching for closure?" she mocked. "Searching for truth," he replied. A detective produced a warrant. They seized her laptop and phone, matching IP addresses to the threatening accounts. Christina's smile cracked. She folded her arms. "You can't prove anything," she muttered, yet panic rippled in her eyes. Dennis looked around the lavish room. The marble floors, the art he once praised. "Why, Tina? We could have ended peacefully." Christina's voice dropped to a hiss. "Peaceful? Watching you flaunt our future with another woman. It stopped being ours when you chose rage over reason." Tears welled, but she blinked them away, mask of defiance sliding back. "You'll regret humiliating me." Dennis shook his head. "No, Christina. The only regret here is how love turned into poison. Spiral into darkness." Police forensics confirmed her IP. The guard identified her shoes from CCTV at the parking lot. The blogger confessed under questioning, forwarding voice notes from Christina. An interim restraining order barred her from contacting Dennis or Alexa, yet obsession knows no fences. Late one night, Christina sat in a dim room, lit only by screenshots of Dennis and Alexa smiling at a charity gala. She whispered to herself, "If I can't have him, no one will." She opened a browser, searching for "how to hire private investigator discreet." Another tab, untraceable phone Lagos market. Her manicured finger tapped with chilling calm. Outside, the city buzzed with distant horns, unaware that the line between envy and malice had finally broken, and the next act would demand a price no check could cover. Dennis and Alexa, lying awake in separate rooms, felt the same uneasy question. How far will Christina go next? Across town, Christina found her answer in the glow of the screen, an answer that would drag them all to the dangerous edge of desperation. A late afternoon sun painted the Banana Island skyline gold as Dennis' chartered yacht, Pearl of Lagos, glided onto calm water. White roses lined the railings, high-life music floated from hidden speakers, and a pale pink carpet led to a small arch draped in Kent silk. 40 close friends and a handful of reporters mingled on deck, phones ready for the mystery announcement. Setting the stage, Dennis adjusted the cuffs of his navy suit and exhaled. "Everything perfect?" he asked Femi, the event planner. "Perfect, sir." Ms. Alexa is finishing her touch-ups in the lounge. Below deck, Alexa stared at her reflection. The flowing champagne-colored gown hugged her waist, falling like moonlight to her feet. Amaka, her maid of honor, pinned a final pearl hairpiece. Amaka grinned. "You look like the headline of tomorrow." Alexa laughed softly. "Only if Dennis doesn't faint first." The moment arrives. Just after sunset, the DJ faded the music and guests turned toward the arch. Dennis took Alexa's hand and led her forward. Camera flashes popped as he stopped beneath the silk canopy. Lanterns flickered, casting gentle light on the lagoon. Dennis cleared his throat. Alexa Bennett, from the first coffee you handed me in Surelier to the last pitch you rehearsed with me at 3 a.m., you have been my compass. He reached into his pocket for a small velvet box. I can't imagine. A shrill female voice split the night. Stop the lies. Christina crashes in. Gasps rippled across the deck. Christina stood at the boarding gate, hair wild, scarlet dress whipping in the breeze. In both hands, she gripped a silver pistol. Security rushed, but she fired 2 shots into the sky. Bang! Bang! Sparks sliced the dark. Guests screamed and dropped behind tables. Journalist dove, cameras still rolling. Dennis raised both palms. Tina, please put the gun down. No one has to be hurt. Christina's eyes blazed. Hurt? I'm already dead inside. My money built your empire, and now you trade me for her? She pointed the gun at Alexa, hand trembling. Alexa's lips parted, words stuck in her throat. Amaka tugged her back behind a floral arrangement, whispering, Stay low. Christina, Dennis said, voice calm but urgent. You're angry because you cared. I understand. Let's talk on shore, just us. She laughed, a harsh sound. Talk? You pay me off like pocket change. Her finger tightened on the trigger. I warned you both. Betrayal has a price. Tension on deck. The yacht's captain cut the engines. Silence fell except for lapping water and panicked breaths. A toddler cried. Her mother hushed her from behind a buffet table. Dennis inched closer. Look around. Children are here. Drop the gun, and we can fix this. Don't move. Christina swung the weapon toward him. His steps froze. Alexa stood slowly from behind the roses. Christina, you're right about one thing, she said, voice shaking but clear. Dennis owes you respect. We both do. But violence ends that chance. Christina blinked, momentarily struck by the calm. Respect. Her lower lip quivered. You stole him while calling me ma'am. None of this was planned, Alexa replied. Love doesn't balance ledgers. But I'm sorry for your pain. For a heartbeat, Christina's eyes softened, tears threatening. Then a tabloid photographer peeked from cover, camera flash popping. The moment shattered. Christina shrieked, spun, and fired again, bang, into a string of deck lights. Sparks showered. Glass fell like rain. Guests screamed anew. The heroic strike. Amaka felt fury burn through fear. She spotted a red fire extinguisher strapped to the wall. Whispering, cover me, to another bridesmaid, she crawled low, fingers closing around the metal handle. Christina, distracted, shouted at the photographer. Put it down before I put you down. Dennis seized the chance. Christina, watch me. Eyes on me. Breathe. As Christina turned back, Amaka launched forward with a warrior's cry and swung the extinguisher in a wide arc wham. It caught Christina on the shoulder. The gun clattered across the deck. Over the edge. Stunned, Christina staggered, heels slipping on scattered rose petals. She teetered at the rail, arms pinwheeling. Dennis lunged. Tina, too late. With a strangled gasp, Christina toppled backwards, dress billowing like a broken sail, and plunged into the midnight water. A splash echoed. Waves closed over her. Panic erupted. Someone yelled, "Man overboard!" Crew tossed a lifebuoy. 2 security guards dived in, slicing through the dark water toward the ripples. Aftermath on deck. Alexa rushed to Dennis. He shook, eyes fixed on the black surface. I didn't want this, he whispered. I know, Alexa said, wrapping an arm around him. Together they watched searchlights sweep the lagoon. Minutes crawled by. No sign of Christina. Captain Adewale spoke into his radio, voice grim. We need marine rescue units, immediate. Guests huddled, shivering despite the warm night. Some prayed aloud. Others wiped tears and soot from cheeks. Amaka stood aside, extinguisher still in hand, breath ragged. Dennis walked to her. You save lives, he said hoarsely. She nodded, eyes wide. Only wanted the madness to stop. The search. Speedboats circled, crews shining high-powered lamps. Divers plunged. The water, however, offered nothing but dark silence. An hour passed, then two. Police arrived. Detective Alyamide took Dennis' statement. You had a restraining order, correct? Yes. I thought security would spot her. Dennis pinched the bridge of his nose. She must have boarded using a vendor boat. Alexa gave her statement too, voice steady until she described the gun pointing at Dennis' chest. Then tears slid down her cheeks. The detective's pen paused. Media frenzy. Even before dawn, social feeds exploded. Hashtag yacht proposal gone wrong. Clips of Christina waving the gun went viral next to earlier photos of the elegant setup. Comment wars ignited, some blaming Dennis for using rich women, others mourning Christina's possible death, others praising Amaka as hero. Craftsphere's public relations team posted an official note. Our hearts are with everyone shaken by tonight's tragedy. We are cooperating fully with authorities. Quiet on the waves. At 4 a.m., rescue boats docked alongside the yacht. Detective Alyamide approached Dennis and Alexa, faces solemn. We will continue at first light, he said, but chances after 6 hours in open water. He let the sentence fade. Dennis turned to Alexa, voice breaking. I never wished harm on her. None of us did, Alexa answered. She clasped his hand. All we can do now is tell the truth. He nodded, wiped a tear. I still have a question for you. Reaching into his damp jacket, he pulled the velvet box, its silk now wrinkled, but ring gleaming. Alexa Bennett, he whispered, kneeling amid scattered petals and broken glass. Life is uncertain and fragile. Will you marry me, so we can face both calm and storm together? Tears filled Alexa's eyes. She knelt with him. Yes, she said. Yes, I will. They held each other under pale dawn light while emergency beacons blinked across the lagoon. Two souls promising hope on a night scarred by obsession, yet still alive with love. A pale dawn rolled across the lagoon the morning after Christina fell. Police boats still cut quiet circles when a diver surfaced, holding something that glinted in the early light, a single diamond teardrop earring. The dive chief climbed onto the pier where Dennis and Alexa waited under blankets. This was near the drop point, he said, handing the jewel to Dennis in a small evidence bag. Dennis traced the familiar design with a finger. She wore them the night we first met, he murmured. A hush settled. No body, no more clues. Only the earring, floating like a question that would never fade. Tides of rumor. 2 days later, the headline pearl of Lagos tragedy. Heiress lost at SEA blanketed every newsstand in Nigeria. But within hours, stories split into two fierce camps. Radio Lagos talk show host Tade Adeyemi leaned into his mic. Eyewitnesses say she toppled straight into deep current. Folks, that water is unforgiving. My heart goes to her family. A caller fired back. She was too clever to die just like that. But she bribed the crew and vanished. On Twitter, hashtags warred. Hashtag Christina Lives versus hashtag Swan Song Christina. Conspiracy threads mapped fake passports and private jets allegedly spotted in Cotonou. An influencer posted grainy CCTV of a woman boarding a night bus to Ghana, claiming it was Christina with dyed hair. Fact-checkers shot it down, but doubts kept ricocheting. Alexa scrolled in bed, sighing. People love mysteries more than truth. Dennis closed the laptop. Let them guess. We know we did everything we could. A wedding in the rain. 6 weeks later, on a misty Saturday, Dennis and Alexa married in an open-air chapel overlooking the very lagoon that had witnessed their darkest night. Some guests worried the location was insensitive. Alexa insisted. Pain happened here, she told the planner, but healing can happen here too. The ceremony was intimate. Just family, the Craftsphere team, and a few close friends. Yet live-stream drones hovered above, beaming pictures to millions. When Alexa walked down the aisle in a simple satin gown, the chat exploded. At Tech Guru, she's glowing. At Sodrites, love wins. Hashtag against all odds. At Conspiracy Corner, where's Christina hiding while they party? Under a transparent umbrella, Dennis slid a gold band onto Alexa's finger. "Storms may come," he said aloud, "but our pact stands stronger." She smiled through tears. Thunder rumbled, guests laughed, and the priest declared, "What the lagoon once swallowed, love now restores." By evening, the wedding clips had stitched themselves into a viral montage titled The Unbreakables, scoring 3 million views in 24 hours. A gift of grace. The following month, Dennis stood at a new podium, Craftssphere logo behind him. Reporters expected the announcement of another funding round. Instead, he presented the Christina Timothy Fund for Mental Wellness and Entrepreneur Support. He opened with a steady breath. "Vision without balance can tip into obsession," he said. "Christina believed in me when I had nothing." Her tragic path reminds us that high ambition needs healthy mindsets. A journalist raised her hand. "Why name it after someone who threatened your life?" Dennis met her eyes. "Because pain shouldn't erase the good someone once did. If we pretend she was evil, we learn nothing." This fund will sponsor therapy sessions, crisis hotlines, and mentorship grants for founders under extreme stress. Alexa added, "Our tech community loves the hustle story, but rarely talks about the breakdown story. We want to change that." Within a week, blue-chip companies pledged matching donations. Critics called it savvy PR. Supporters called it overdue compassion. Either way, the fund trended beside hashtag the Unbreakables for days. The world takes note. 6 months later, podcast host Bola Kent recorded an episode titled Love on the Edge, the yacht incident. Her intro music faded as she spoke. Today we unpack the night when jealousy fired bullets over Banana Island waters. And we ask, did Christina Timothy really drown? Or did she script her final act? She interviewed the yacht captain, the event planner, and even Amaka, the bridesmaid turned hero. Amaka's soft voice trembled. When her eyes met mine, I just swung. Instinct. I still dream of that splash. The episode topped Spotify Nigeria for 3 weeks. Netflix then commissioned The One That Got Away, a 4-part docuseries weaving interviews, dramatic reenactments, and animated timelines of Christina's last known movements. Directors filmed Dennis and Alexa walking the Surreal Street, where they once passed out flyers for Craftssphere. Dennis told the camera, "I proposed to Alexa again after therapy. This ring is our third yes, proof we're growing, not just surviving." Alexa squeezed his hand, silent tears shining. The final episode ended with a lingering shot of the diamond earring in a museum-style glass box, plaque reading, "Recovered May 27th, 2025, exact fate unknown." Private conversations. In Craftssphere's rooftop garden. Femi, so the fund applications triple every month. We might need a second branch. Dennis, let's do it. Scale compassion like we scale code. At home on a quiet night. Alexa, do you ever blame yourself? Dennis, every now and then. Then I remember blame is a maze with no exit. I choose stewardship. She nodded. Me too. On a podcast pre-record. Host, if Christina walked through this door right now alive, what would you say? Dennis, after a pause, I'd say, I'm sorry it went this far. Let's get you help. Alexa, and I'd add, the door to healing is still open. The clip trended within hours, praised for grace, criticized for naivety, but shared by millions hungry for closure. Echoes on the water. One humid evening exactly a year after the yacht incident, Dennis and Alexa boarded a small canoe with lanterns. They rowed to the approximate spot where Christina vanished. Dennis opened a simple wooden box, revealing the single earring. "This belongs to the tide now," he whispered. Together they dropped it. The diamond glimmered, then slipped beneath gentle ripples. Alexa murmured a prayer. Back on shore, paparazzi lenses glinted beyond the palms, hoping for a tearful photo. They got none. Dennis and Alexa left hand in hand, silhouettes merging with city lights. Proof that grief could be honored without being caged. Legacy and lessons. Craftssphere's valuation soared. Yet Dennis taught mandatory mental health workshops for all new hires. Each session began with a line, "No milestone is worth losing your mind." Schools invited Alexa to speak on sustainable ambition. She told students, dream big but anchor deep. Your well-being is the keel. Kids quoted her on TikTok over lo-fi beats. The phrase became a sticker on laptops across West Africa. Epilogue. A bartender on Victoria Island claimed that some nights, a woman with scarred shoulder and dyed auburn hair sipped martinis alone, paying cash, leaving no name. He showed patrons a blurry CCTV still, the curve of a jaw, the faint flash of a diamond stud resembling the missing twin. Maybe it was Christina. Maybe it wasn't. Lagos learned to live with uncertainty, the same way waves erase footprints but never cease whispering. Meanwhile, Dennis and Alexa thrived, not because storms stopped, but because they learned to sail together, their compass set to empathy, their sails stitched with hard-won wisdom. And far beyond gossip and glitter, the Christina Timothy Fund quietly saved its first life. A young founder who nearly jumped from Third Mainland Bridge, but instead dialed a hotline printed on a Crafts Fear Care card. Rumor could not chart that victory, yet it was the truest ending of all. A life reclaimed from obsession's edge, echoing across the water where one story was lost and many more now found hope.